Hello everybody and welcome to today's edition of the Alton Towers Fandom podcast, the place where we dive deep into all things Alton Towers and beyond. I'm your host Nick Tyler, the author of Emily and the Alton Towers Ride Backstories, and today we've got a double helping of Merlin news, and both are big. We'll be talking about the new Essential Pass that's replacing the Discovery and Silver Merlin Annual Passes announced yesterday, and also the digitalisation of the Ride Access Pass system, which could mean an end to those familiar paper timesheets. Let's get started with the wrap changes, because this one's really got the community talking. So for the past few months, Alton Towers has been randomly selecting wrap users to trial the digital version of the Ride Access Pass, with the goal of phasing out the paper timesheets completely by the 2026 season. Now, some people have noticed that different testers have been using different digital systems, and that's actually normal. As a software developer myself, I can tell you it's quite common to run multiple versions of a product at the same time to compare what's working best. Facebook, for example, runs upwards of 10,000 different versions of its software at any one time. The idea here is that the final version will be the best and the most reliable system possible moving forward for the final rollout. So what exactly is changing? Essentially, the app will handle your queue times automatically. Instead of paper cards being marked by staff, your phone will update your virtual queue. I'm expecting a red-green traffic light system, something that we've seen in other parks. When your app is green, you're ready to join a wrap queue, and when it's red, you're in your cooldown period, the same length of time as the standard queue for that attraction. So for example, let's say it's 1 PM and you check in for the 13 queue, which currently has a 1 hour queue time. Your app turns red for 60 minutes. Once that time's up, it goes green again, you can join another ride access queue, no paperwork, no confusion, no errors. One potential bonus of the new system is that you might not even need to physically be at the ride entrance to register for your wrap. Depending on which version Alton Towers decides to go with in the end, you could effectively check in from anywhere within the park and start heading towards the attraction when your time's almost up, and that could massively improve accessibility and comfort for ride access queue guests. Now obviously Ride Access Pass holders in particular have had strong views about the new system coming into place, and there are a lot of pros and cons and a lot of things to unpack. So we'll have a look through some of them, starting with the positives. The first one, obviously for everybody, is accuracy. The new system will use AI, most likely to calculate queue times automatically, and that eradicates any human error. So there'll be no more misjudged wait times or forgotten markings, and it should make things fairer overall for everybody. Wrap users will now have to wait the same amount of time as everybody else, just virtually instead of physically standing in a queue. It's also going to be much more convenient. You won't have to worry about losing your paper card or trying to explain a time mix-up to a member of staff. Everything's handled right there on your phone. And environmentally, it's a win too, because there's no more paper waste. And if Merlin does decide to take this even further, we could see new features added, such as wrap renewals and wrap verification built straight into the app. And that would really speed things up massively, especially for regular visitors. Plus, all of the data could help manage the park crowd flow better in real time, which could actually reduce queue times for everybody, not just wrap users. And of course, if they do decide to make it so you can register for a wrap queue away from a ride in a different area of the park, then that would be a huge benefit to people, for example, that suffer from sensory overload in certain queues, even though it's just a short wait. Now, while there are a lot of benefits to a digitalised system, on the flip side, there have definitely been more than a few concerns raised by Ride Access Pass users. The first one, and this is something nearly everyone's mentioned, is the signal around Alton Towers. We all know that the Wi-Fi and mobile phone data around Alton Towers can be pretty hit and miss at the best of times. Some areas like the Dark Forest or lower gardens have very little coverage, and if the app relies on live updates, the park's going to have to seriously boost its connectivity. Then of course there's accessibility in the digital sense. Not all wrap users are tech savvy. Some rely on carers or family members to handle the app side of things, And that means the interface has to be really simple and intuitive. If it's confusing, it could actually add even more stress instead of removing it. Which again is why I'd be hugely in favour of the very simple red-green traffic light system implemented in other Merlin parks. Another practical concern that's been raised is battery life, with phones now being used for literally everything from tickets and photos, maps, social media. There's so many photo opportunities at a place like Alton Towers. Constantly refreshing an app with GPS could drain your battery super fast, and I think we'll see more guests carrying portable chargers or using the park's charging lockers, which may mean that Alton Towers have to implement more of these systems, perhaps even implementing Ride Access Pass user only charging stations with super fast charging facilities. Personally, I think this would be a great option. It'd be relatively easy to implement. You could quite easily put a QR code scanner built into the Ride Access Pass app, which you scan at the charging stations, and therefore only RAP users can use them. And then we move on to the question of flexibility. Under the paper system, staff could sometimes use discretion, maybe give a shorter wait time if the queue was nearly empty, or account for individual needs, whereas a digital system might not be or will not be as forgiving. It'll follow an algorithm strictly, even in cases where a bit of human judgment might have been helpful. And of course, changes take time. Some guests will love it right away, others will find it frustrating at first. It's one of those things where communication will be key, making sure that everybody understands how it works before it becomes the new normal. And of course, focusing on the pros rather than the cons, the benefits that it offers and how it'll streamline the RAP system. Overall, I do believe this is a step in the right direction. If the technology is solid and the park supports it properly, it could make the whole RAP experience smoother, faster and fairer for everybody. And so before we move on to our next topic, are you a Ride Access Pass user? Do you have thoughts on the new digitalisation of the RAP system? Perhaps you're someone who's been selected to trial it in the previous months, or maybe you're not a RAP user that has an opinion on whether or not you think this is a much fairer system for everybody. Whatever your views, we welcome them in the comments, and we do often share feedback directly with Merlin and Alton Towers, so leave us a comment, tell us what you think. Now on to the next big topic today, which is the change to the Merlin Annual Pass. As of yesterday, October the 15th, 2025, Merlin officially announced that both the Discovery Pass and the Silver Passes have been discontinued for new customers. They're being replaced by something called the Essential Pass. Now, the Essential Pass costs £139 per person per year and gives you over 335 days of access across all Merlin attractions. However, it's an entry-only pass. That means no discounts on food, no perks on hotels or shops, and no parking benefits. Also, you can't pay monthly for the Essential Pass. It's a one-off payment paid up front. So for existing Discovery and Silver Pass holders, you can still renew your passes as part of the phase-out process, but once you let it lapse, that's it. You'll need to move over to either the Essential, Gold or Platinum tiers. Now there are two ways of looking at this change. On the one hand, the Essential Pass is a more affordable option, giving people a way into the parks without breaking the banks. For casual visitors or families who just want regular days out, it's actually a pretty good deal. But on the other hand, for people who've been used to the perks, the discounts, the flexibility, the monthly payments, this definitely does feel like a downgrade. It's a clear shift towards separating basic entry from premium benefits, and I think the fan base will be really split on this one. Now, before I go any further, I do want to take a quick moment to address something directly, kind of an apology from us here at Alton Towers Fandom. We work closely with various contacts across Merlin and their partners, and our website's grown massively over the last few months. We've now reached over 20,000 page views a month, and while that's absolutely incredible for us, it can also be a little bit of a double-edged sword. In a recent post, I talked about how in my family, I have a gold pass while my partner and 3 children all have silver passes. For many years we all had gold passes or platinum passes, until I realised one day that when I book a hotel or go to eat in the park or buy anything from the shop, it's only one pass that gets scanned. So for us all to have gold or platinum passes was kind of redundant, so we downgraded them to silver to make it much more cost effective having the passes, while still enjoying all the benefits such as free parking and discounts on food shops and hotels. Well, unfortunately, it seems that post did not go unnoticed. Alton Towers and Merlin as a whole do keep an eye on our reviews and content, and it appears we may have, completely unintentionally, influenced this latest change in some small way. So, if that is the case, we'll hold our hands up and say we are sorry. It's important to remember at the end of the day that Merlin is a business, and like with any business, their decisions will always come down to what makes the most financial sense. These changes aren't personal, they're about profitability and sustainability. Thankfully, it's not all doom and gloom though. Merlin have also announced that the joining fees for the Merlin Annual Passes Gold and Platinum have been scrapped. Whether that's a permanent thing, we're not 100% sure of yet, but at the moment, you can get them just by signing up for a monthly fee. So what can you do to make the most of the new pass setup? Well, our advice is pretty straightforward and honestly, kind of the same as it was before. If you are in a position to afford it, or if there's an option to save up over the close season, try to get an essential pass for each member of your family, except one person who should still hold a gold pass. That way, everyone gets access for the year up front and your ongoing monthly cost is minimal, just the one gold pass to pay for, unless of course you decide to pay for that up front as well. You're still enjoying all the perks like free parking and 20% off food shops and hotels, but you don't need multiple gold passes. And while we're on the topic of subscriptions, why not take a second to like and subscribe to whichever channel you're listening to this podcast on. It really is a free, simple and easy way to help support us make more great content. Also, we've got some great things planned as we head towards the Christmas months, which will be free giveaways, completely free to enter for you guys. We'll be giving away Merlin Annual Passes, we'll be giving away Essential Passes. I might even throw in a few signed copies of the backstories, who knows. So keep your eyes peeled for them announcements coming end of November towards beginning of December time. And so there you have it, that's today's two big updates from Merlin and Alton Towers, the Ride Pass going fully digital and the launch of the new Essential Pass replacing the Discovery and Silver Annual Pass. We'd absolutely love to know what you guys think. Do you see the digital wrap as a more positive move? Do you think it could cause more problems than it solves? Are you planning to stick with your current Merlin Annual Pass, or will you switch to the Essential one when the time comes out? Perhaps you've been thinking about getting a Merlin Annual Pass and this announcement has changed your mind in one way or another. Please do join in the discussion on social media. Just search Alton Towers Fandom on Facebook or at Alton Towers Fandom on YouTube, or wherever you get your podcast from. We do read every single comment, and stay tuned for more updates on all things Merlin. Until next time, I've been Nick Tyler. This has been your Alton Towers Fandom podcast, and I'll see you in the next queue.